Now, this is the part where it gets kind of tough for me to address it. I have to be very careful here. And this is the lead up to the order that got leaked online. At the beginning of our relationship, April was on very good terms with all of the parents. And I thought that was great because I'd been in a relationship where the relationship between the person I was with and another person was really contentious, really bad. And that is remarkably stressful, really stressful. It's difficult, man. It really does make things hard. I don't like it. My preference would be either there's friendliness or just professionalism. I've learned over the years that it's hard to be friends. Like that's a hard friendship to maintain because your interests are going to conflict sometimes. I would rather have friendship or business-like relationship. And my dream was always drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up. That's it. And we're good. You know, drop off, pick up, anything that needs to get taken care of gets taken care of there. Perfect. April and another person had a friendship that I thought was great. My life had never been easier. Never been easier. Scheduling, drop off, pick up, everything was good. Then there came an incident where April and I, this was right after the big fight. We compared text messages and there were different things. Put it that way. I said, well, this is what I got. And she goes, well, this is what I got. And we looked at it and we went, that doesn't jive. That's a little weird. So then as I look here through my notes, things started to sour. Trust started to get dissolved between other parties. And as that trust dissolved, April felt she should write a letter. So April wrote a letter to another person, outlining all of their complaints, outlining all of the things they objected to, outlining, all of the things that I don't remember the letter. I don't remember exactly what was in it. I just knew that she hand wrote a letter, hand delivered it to somebody, and that letter was not well received. That letter caused some problems. And after that, this nice, this is what I'm talking about. Like when you try to have that kind of friendship and then there's conflict of interest, it gets tough. So then after that, there was tension. And I don't like that kind of tension. So, and in fairness, April did not like that kind of tension. So now in the order, there's another thing. There's a group text where we're talking about, hey, I have an idea. April and I had this idea because we were talking to a couple of our friends who are also listeners of the show. We were at a rodeo together, and they said, well, we all have, the parents and step-parents, we all have a group text that we go into. And everything gets handled through the group text. And we went, that's it. Let's do that. That way, no, I get this text, you get that text. We have a group text, everything's good. Well, the problem with proposing the group text was after the letter, now all of a sudden there's people who don't want to speak to other people. So I proposed the group text mostly because there was a situation where there were conflicting text messages. And I said, why don't we all, stepdad, stepmom, mom, dad, why doesn't everybody be involved in one group text? That was my brilliant brainchild. I go, here we go. This is going to fix everything. After the letter, there was no interest in a group text. After the letter, there was no wantonness for a group text, for, communication between everyone. That's like last week, that's when mediation started. And I felt the need to go to bat for my wife's parental abilities. And so we started going to mediation. And in that mediation, we got a couple of things that we wanted. Not everything that we wanted, a couple of things that we wanted. And then shortly after that mediation wrapped up, the document that leaked online, we got served with it. And it had all of these stories from 2 years ago and all of these other stories. And there's a couple other shitty things about April in another doc. I didn't see it in this document, but there were a couple other shitty things. There was, of course, the clip from our show and all of that. I can't speak to the veracity of it. I'm not allowed to speak to how I feel about that. It is what it is. It's in the document. People obviously can see it. But it was definitely, there was definitely animosity. It all blew up. It all got incredibly out of hand. I will say that I think that 2-year-old text message is, I can't say that. I will say this about the main thing that people are bitching about. Not once, not ever. Neither of us ever physically abused the other. That is ridiculous. Please, with that shit, no. We had a bad fight 2.5 years ago, and 2 years later, some venting that we did after the fight got thrown out there publicly, which, I hope that never happens to you. I really hope that never happens to you because it's just so unfair. But it's out there. I wanted to address it today. If we'll go to the audience, we'll go to the super chats here. We'll see what people think. But I'll say this: if you think that April and I ever had anything physically abusive going on, you haven't been paying attention. Not once, not ever. Total horseshit. And this is one of those times. Again, as much as I don't like April, and April does not like me right now, I wish that she could talk about this. I wish that she was on air right next to me and she could go, hey, by the way, Aaron, I hate your guts. You're a piece of shit. Oh, by the way, never headbutted me, never choked me, anything like that. No, of course not. As a matter of fact, this has been addressed on the show before. This document has been addressed on the show before. So there we go. It's been addressed. I'm not going to go any further with it because I don't want to take any chances. I was talking with a third party yesterday. I got some assurances that I had some leeway to talk about this and defend myself. I just couldn't say anything bad. I will say this: the mother of my children and I are on very good terms right now. I'd like to keep it that way. This came out publicly. She said, yes, absolutely. Defend yourself.